We now have proof that the Chinese government is interfering with our election and trying to get Mark Carney elected as our prime minister. Welcome to my channel, y'all. I hope you're having a great day. There was a press conference held in Ottawa today which explained that the Chinese government is actively interfering in our election, and it appears that they're promoting Mark Carney. Now, I'm not going to subject you to a really long cut of that press conference. Instead, I'm going to read the press release, and then we'll cut in some aspects of that press conference, particularly some question and answers, and then we will talk about it. So first off, let's go to the press release, and then we'll go to the press conference. So I'd like to read to you now from the Government of Canada website, the Privy Council Office update on Canada's action to protect General Election 45. News release dated today, Ottawa, Ontario, April 7th, 2025. Today in Ottawa, the Government of Canada held its third briefing to media regarding the actions that it is taking to protect the 45th general election from foreign interference. The information operation is taking place on social media platform WeChat and was launched by, and I can't pronounce that, WeChat's most popular news account. Intelligence reporting links this account to the PRC, Chinese Communist Party, Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission. So this is coming right from the Chinese government. They are currently interfering in our election. The content of this information operation contains stories about Mark Carney. It goes on to say that the task force observed large spikes in coordinated inauthentic behavior preceding the election campaign on March 10th and during the writ period on March 25th, following increasing levels of engagement on the platform. The Liberal Party representative was briefed on the findings yesterday. It goes on to say that at this time, the panel has determined that this activity is not affecting Canada's ability to have a free and fair election. This case is contained to one platform and has not spread further, nor is it affecting Canadians' ability to make an informed decision about their vote. Now, I'm not sure how they come to that conclusion. How do they make that analysis that it's not affecting people's opinions and how they're going to vote? It doesn't seem to be something that they can judge or just comment on, just out of hand, just say, oh, well, this isn't affecting our election. How have they come to that conclusion? It doesn't really say here. Now, going to the actual press conference itself here, some of the reporters actually had some decent questions. In particular, because this panel is saying that there was both positive and negative things being said about Mark Carney, this reporter kind of challenged that. So let's go to the press conference and see that exchange.
I just want to come back to the content. My last Mandarin class was 13 years ago, so I used Google to translate them. And from the examples that are in the backgrounder, it appears that the content is mostly promoting Mr. Carney's strength. I think the language that it says is United States meets Canada's tough opponent. And so, Ms. Gladzo, you mentioned something about negative and positive in the background. I didn't see that, but it appears to me from what's in here that the content is, I don't know if it's promoting Mr. Carney, but it seems very cast him in a positive light. Is that broadly what this content that you've seen, that this particular campaign, is that what it seemed to be doing overall?
We monitored over the period of time specified, and we saw positive and negative narratives. I think a really important aspect of the work that we do in site and in these briefings is to not further amplify information that is out there at the interest, at the behest of a foreign government. And so, there were positive and negative.
So then what would be the point of the campaign if they're both undermining him and promoting him?
Now, that's a good question. As a matter of fact, that was kind of my question when I heard this. What would be the point? I'm going to go back to the press conference here and show you what their answer was, but I will cut out the awkward silence so you don't have to sit through that, because they were kind of wondering, how do we answer this? What is the point?
So, I mean, I think maybe disinformation is one thing, but this kind of coordinated inauthentic behavior is just an attempt to pollute the digital environment and try to shape opinions one way or the other. I think, and Vanessa will correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's fair to say the PRC is party agnostic. Like this isn't an attempt one way or another, but it is to kind of sow confusion and discord in the digital environment.
Seriously? You want us to believe that they're party agnostics? First off, how did they come to that conclusion? And there's all sorts of evidence that they are on Mark Carney's side, such as his recent loan of $250 million from the Central Bank of China, the communist-controlled Central Bank of China. So I'm not sure that they can actually say this with any degree of certainty. And really, does it make any sense to you? Does it make any sense that they would have a balanced report? This reporter has done his homework and he's looked at the articles and he has said that it seems to be positive in favor of Mark Carney. And that does make sense. Why would they put out a whole bunch of negative comments or negative stories about Mark Carney, except maybe to appear to be slightly balanced? So the majority of them would be one way, and then a few would be the other way to appear to be balanced. But really, if the majority of the reports are skewing one way, then it will still influence people's opinion that way. So I'm not sure that I can realistically believe what she's saying here.
I would say also that our mandate isn't to first understand the point of a foreign information manipulation operation. It's to identify it, to confirm that it is coordinated, inauthentic behavior, that it is state-backed, and to ensure that Canadians are informed that is happening.
Okay, I do have to comment on this because I think it's really funny. She is essentially saying motive's not important. We've caught them and it's not important. Well, I can say from an investigational standpoint, it's actually true that a lot of times in police work, motive doesn't matter. You catch them, you charge them, and why they did it is either fairly obvious or it doesn't really matter. But in more serious cases such as murder, cases such as this, where it's kind of an international intrigue kind of thing, it's foreign interference, motive does matter. And it explains why they're doing it and maybe how you can detect them doing it in the future. So yeah, motive does matter. And it might even tell you if one particular candidate is complicit in what they're doing. So I disagree here. Motive does matter. They should be looking into it and finding out exactly why the Communist Party of China is doing it. I think it's fairly obvious, and maybe that's her point. It's fairly obvious. They want a particular candidate to get elected. That could be why they're not really concerned about motive here, because it's obvious.
Okay, I just wanted to ask if you could give us a copy of these articles that were, provide copies to the media of these articles that were circulating, so we could further analyze them, because as Chris said, they seem to be largely promotional and positive towards Mr. Carney. So I'd like to ask you as well to explain what you mean by, in layman's language, amplifying narratives in a coordinated and inauthentic way. What does that mean in layman's language?
So you can imagine how you behave on social media. You see something, you like it, you write a comment on it, and over time, a story can spread if it's popular, or if it doesn't, it dies. We're all familiar with the concept of something going viral, something spreading very, very fast, and through digital analysis, we can see what is the mechanism of that speed of spread. Who is doing the spreading. And so when we talk about coordinated and inauthentic behavior, we see things, for instance, like the same headline appearing across multiple media sources, foreign media sources usually, using the exact same headline and being posted within minutes, if not seconds, of each other. So that's not a typical organic kind kind of spread of information.
Now, you might wonder why I'm giggling about this, because if you've ever watched one of those segments in the U.S. where they're analyzing the mainstream media response to a story, and, 20 different channels are coming up with the exact same headline and the exact same verbiage on how they're describing a particular incident. And it's across different platforms. It's not just ABC or NBC or CBS or CNN. It's all of them. They're all doing it. They're all saying this is that exact same thing. So it sounds like she's actually describing something that happens in mainstream media as well. So that's why I thought this was quite funny. So this committee, this task force, doesn't believe that any of this is affecting our election. As I said before, I'm not buying it. Obviously, I don't think that they can make that determination from what they've released here. They're just stating it so that we don't get all worried. I'm also not buying that the Communist Party of China is being balanced in their reporting. I'm not buying that at all. I think that they are trying to promote Mark Carney. I think he's probably even in on it. Why wouldn't he be? He's a really good friend to the Chinese. So he's going to benefit from this. We know how connected Trudeau was to the Chinese government party. I'm reading the book right now, Willful Blindness by Sam Cooper. I suggest everybody read that. I can only take so much of it at a time because of my background. I get really frustrated with how corrupt Canada is, how corrupt our politicians are, and how corrupt and inept our court systems are. So I'll read a chapter and then I'll think, I got to put it down. I'm just getting so worked up. But it is important information. I suggest that everybody get a copy of that book and read it. It will really piss you off, but it's essential that you learn what's going on in Canada, what's been going on in Canada for decades, especially with the Chinese government, because it's really scary stuff. And if you think they're not trying to get Mark Carney elected, well, I think that you're delusional. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to know what you think. Put your comments down below. And while you're at it, please like this video, share with your friends and on social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so you never miss another video. Also, please join me on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific time for my live stream on both YouTube and Rumble, where you're invited to join in on the conversation. Finally, if you wish to get your Canadian firearms license and you reside on Vancouver Island, I teach the required courses. So if you'd like to take a course from me, there's a link in the show notes of this video to my website where you can sign up for one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.